After a night of judgment and kindness, can Avery trust him with her heart? Elias sees her strength where others see flaws. Watch this intimate moment where trust and vulnerability spark a love neither of them expected. The sunlight crept weakly through Avery's thin curtains, illuminating the small living room where Micah was already awake, clutching his stuffed bear. Avery, still wrapped in the lingering warmth of Elias's support from yesterday, moved quietly to the kitchen. She hummed softly as she prepared breakfast, trying to hold on to the sense of hope that had bloomed within her. Micah's eyes were bright as he looked up from his cereal. "Mom, will he see us again today?" Avery smiled, stirring her tea. "I think he will, baby. He cares about us." Even saying the words aloud made her heart flutter. She was afraid, as always, that she would be judged. That someone like Elias could see her flaws and decide she wasn't enough. But yesterday had proven otherwise. Still, the world was relentless, and Avery knew that today could bring its own set of challenges. By midday, Avery found herself walking alongside Elias toward a downtown charity event, a winter fundraiser for local children. The snow had softened to gentle flurries, dusting the streets in white. Elias's black coat brushed against her arm, warm and solid. The contrast between his calm composure and her fluttering anxiety was almost comical. The event was elegant but not ostentatious: tables of baked goods, a small stage for local musicians, and families gathered under twinkling fairy lights. Avery felt out of place instantly. Her worn coat, simple scarf, and practical boots stood in stark contrast to the designer dresses and polished shoes of the other attendees. A whisper reached her ears. "Who let her in here?" Another voice, a man's, muttered, "She doesn't belong with him." "Look at her coat." Avery froze, her hands clutching her purse tighter. The blood drained from her face. She felt the familiar heat of shame rising up her neck. All of her insecurities, all of her years of being judged for being black, for being a single mother, for simply existing in spaces she wasn't supposed to, came rushing forward. Elias noticed immediately. He stopped, turning toward her with a steadying gaze. "Avery," he said softly, hand brushing her shoulder. "Are you okay?" She nodded, but her voice was barely a whisper. They're judging me." "They're wrong," he said firmly. "And you don't have to let them make you feel less than you are." He didn't stay silent. The whispers continued, growing slightly louder as people glanced their way. A small crowd began forming near the stage, curious about the tension. Elias straightened, his posture commanding without being aggressive. He stepped forward, voice carrying over the murmurs. "Excuse me. You seem to think she doesn't belong here. That's not your call to make. She is welcome, and anyone who can't see that is speaking only from their ignorance, not reality." The couple nearest them froze. Their smirks faded, replaced with confusion and a hint of embarrassment. The man muttered something under his breath, but Elias's unwavering gaze silenced him. Avery's chest tightened, and tears pricked her eyes, not from humiliation, but from relief. He was standing by her. Not because she asked him to, not because it was convenient, but because he saw injustice and acted. When the murmurs faded and people returned to their activities, Elias turned to her. "You are seen, Avery. And you are safe." She blinked, her voice trembling. Thank you. I didn't know someone could actually do that for me." "You deserve it," he said simply. "And anyone who disagrees can stay wrong. It doesn't change who you are." They moved to a quieter corner of the event, away from the lingering gazes. Avery sank into a chair, letting herself breathe. "It's exhausting," she admitted. "Always having to prove myself, everywhere I go. At work, in stores, just existing." Elias sat beside her. "I know. I've faced judgment too, different kind, perhaps, but the same sting. People judge when they don't understand. But that doesn't define you. Only you define you." She laughed softly, a sound filled with awe and disbelief. "I've never had someone actually see me, not the me behind the exhaustion and the mistakes. Not anyone, not like that. And you are worth being seen," he replied. "Exactly as you are." The warmth in his voice, the certainty in his eyes, made Avery feel something shift inside her. The weight of years of judgment felt a fraction lighter. As the event wound down, Elias offered to walk her to her car. Avery hesitated. The snow was deepening, and the streets were slick. "Don't worry about the roads," he said, adjusting his coat. "I've got you." They walked side by side, shoulders brushing occasionally. Avery felt a strange combination of fear and comfort. Fear of the judgment that seemed to follow her, but comfort in the protective bubble Elias created around them. "You make it sound so simple," she whispered, recalling his words from yesterday. Being brave, Being seen. Nothing worth it is simple, he said, voice low and warm. But you make it worth it. Her heart pounded. For the first time, she believed that perhaps she could face the world, not alone, but with someone who saw her. The following day, Avery faced another challenge. While running errands with Micah, she entered a high-end boutique to return a jacket. As she browsed quietly, a group of women whispered nearby, "She really thinks she belongs here." Her cheeks flushed, her hands shook. She was tempted to leave, to disappear into the streets and never show herself again. Then she remembered Elias. His words, his confidence, the way he had stood by her. She squared her shoulders, held her chin high, and met the gaze of the nearest sales associate. "Excuse me," she said politely, "I'd like to return this item." The woman looked momentarily taken aback, then nodded. Avery completed the return, heart racing. When she stepped outside, the snow felt warmer somehow, as though Elias's presence was still with her. That evening, Avery sat with Micah on the couch, recounting the day's events. He listened, wide-eyed, and whispered, "Mom, you were brave." She smiled, brushing his hair back. "I had help, baby. Sometimes, being brave isn't about doing it alone, it's about letting someone stand with you." Her phone buzzed. A message from Elias. "I've been thinking about you all day. Proud of how strong you are. Can I see you tomorrow?" Her chest tightened, but this time it wasn't fear. It was hope. She typed back, "Yes. I'd like that." Over the next few days, Avery and Elias spent more time together. Each encounter strengthened her trust and self-confidence. They shared quiet moments, coffee at small cafes, walks through snowy streets, and late-night phone calls filled with laughter and honest conversation. Elias never once allowed judgment to touch her. Every time the world seemed cruel, he reminded her that her worth was not defined by opinions, but by who she truly was. Avery began to see herself as he saw her, strong, resilient, deserving of love and respect. A week later, they attended a holiday charity gala. Elegant lights, crystal chandeliers, and well-dressed attendees surrounded them. As they mingled, a group of wealthy women began whispering about Avery, making snide remarks loud enough to hear. Avery froze, but Elias immediately stepped beside her, standing like a shield. "Are you done judging her?" he asked, calm but unyielding. "She is here because she is invited. She belongs, and your opinion is irrelevant." The women's laughter faltered. They had not expected someone of Elias's stature to speak so firmly. Avery's heart swelled, not with embarrassment this time, but with pride and gratitude. After the gala, Elias and Avery walked outside into the snow. Avery was quiet for a moment, processing the evening. "I've never had someone defend me like that," she said softly. "Then let me be the first," he replied. "And the last, always. You don't have to face the world alone anymore." Avery's eyes glistened. She had been judged her entire life, but now she had someone who would stand by her, through public scrutiny, through doubt, through fear. She felt seen, valued, and protected. They shared a quiet moment, holding hands, snow falling gently around them. Avery realized that true love wasn't about appearances, wealth, or status. It was about integrity, trust, and unwavering support. And in that moment, she knew, she was no longer alone. Back at her apartment, Avery tucked Micah into bed. She whispered to him, "Remember, baby, it's not about what people think. It's about who you are." Her phone buzzed again. Elias's name appeared on the screen. "Thinking of you. Proud of your strength. Can I see you tomorrow?" She smiled, typing back, "Yes. I want to see you." Snow fell outside, soft and silent, as Avery looked out the window. For the first time, she felt truly safe, truly loved, and truly seen. And she knew, whatever challenges came next, they would face them together. Will Avery let him into her life? Can love bridge the gap between their worlds? Stay tuned for part 4, where hope, family, and the magic of Christmas collide. If you enjoyed this emotional journey, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one.